Today we will be doing Google Docs Lesson 2.6. It's entitled Learning Shapes Poster Using Shapes and Graphic Tools. The overview says, in your math class, you are learning about the different geometric shapes. Your teachers have asked you to create a poster to display some of those shapes. You decided to use Google Docs to create your poster. In this lesson, you will change the page setup, use the drawing tools, and create a colorful shapes poster. The new skills, you're going to be changing page orientation, changing page margins, changing page color, inserting word art, changing shape fill color, line fill color, line weight, using the wrap text function, and also inserting shapes. Okay, so all kinds of things that we're going to be doing in this lesson. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the instructions. Instruction 1 says to open your Google Docs, your My Docs folder, and to create a new document and name it Lesson 2.6. So I'm going to go here. Here's my mind. I have to go to my Google Lessons. It seems to be taking it a minute to load these. So the internet is being slow today. Here we go. So here are the folders that we created. I'm going to go to My Docs. I'm in My Docs. I can see all of the lessons that I have created. So I'm going to go to New, and I'm going to go to a new doc. All right. So as this is loading, the first thing that I want to do is to come up here to the Untitled, and I'm going to call it Lesson 2.6, just as the instruction said, and then I'm just going to click down here. All right, so instruction 2 says from the File menu, you're going to choose Page Setup. Now, this is the first time we've probably been here as a group, but under File, Page Setup, this is where we're going to make several changes today, and the first of those it talks about in Step 3. And you can see the illustration below Step 3 on your page, but it says change page orientation. In page orientation, what we're talking about is normally if you printed something out, your page is tall. However, sometimes you want to turn it on its side so the page is wide rather than tall. If you can imagine taking just a regular sheet of notebook paper and you're looking at it the way you normally would, but then turn it on its side, well, that's called orientation. So when it's tall, it's portrait. When it's wide, it's landscape. So I'm going to start with instruction step 3. It says change page orientation. Sometimes you need a page that is wide rather than tall. This means you need to change the orientation on the page from portrait or tall to landscape wide. So with the page setup dialog box open on your screen, choose landscape. So it was on portrait, I changed the landscape, but it says do not click it. Do not click OK. It says you will be making other changes in this box. All right, so I'm going to go on to the next step. Step 4 says to change the page margins. The page margins, when we talk about page margins, you can kind of see around here. That's the white space on the outside of your page. Now, as you are looking at yours will be different than mine. I have changed my default. So I'm going to go ahead and change mine to what yours will say. Okay, so this is what yours should say. There should be one. There should be one for each of them. But it says, but if you change them, you can make them smaller, which means you have more space to work in the middle and less white space around the outside. So right now, if you can imagine, there is about an inch of space all the way around your screen that you can't work in because it's your margin. But it says to change page margins, this is step 4 on page 2, it says with the page setup dialog box open on your screen, you will also change the margins of your document. Changing the margins gives you more space on your document to do the work. The page margin is the white space around the outside of the page that you are unable to type on. For our document, you will change the page margin of the top, bottom, left, and right to 0.5. So I'm going to click on top, and I'm going to type 0.5. Now I can click here and highlight it and type 0.5, or you can also, it's quicker for me, I hit the tab key and it automatically takes me to the next one, tab key again. So those are margins, and it says to see the graphic above. So in that graphic on the previous page, it showed you the margins were circled there. And it says leave the box open for the next step. And the next step is to change the page color. And so the page color, right now your page background is, your page is white, but you could change it to a different color. Now I will warn you that you don't want to change the page color very often. Typically you would never change page color because it's just not a good idea. Because it wastes a lot of ink. But for this particular, if you were printing anyway, for this particular activity, we're going to be changing the color of the page. And so step 5 says change page color. It says to add color to the background of your document page, click the page color drop down menu for this project, you're going to choose black. So here, I'm just going to choose black. And all right. And then it says to choose black. And now, after this, we are going to hit enter. So now, hit the OK button. All right, and so when we do that right there, notice our page went black. And also, I'm going to zoom out. Okay, you can see our work, our entire page now, and you can see that, in fact, it is black. Okay, so, and I'm going to show you the difference between portrait and landscape. If I go back here and I change this to portrait, watch what happens on my screen. See how it went tall? Okay, but I don't want that. I want it to be wide. So I just hit the undo button. Remember that? Okay, so now we're on to step 6. Step 6 says to insert word art. Word art is text that is treated like a picture. And we created ourselves, and it says now it's time to add some artistic flair to your poster using word art. To add word art, do the following. Step A says from the insert menu, you're going to choose drawing. So this opens a new screen on your page, and it says now notice in the background you have this kind of a grid. Don't worry, this does not show up on your document. Okay. It says step B, with the drawing dialog box open on your screen, you will click the actions drop down menu, which is right here. And then you're going to choose word art, which is right here. And it opens this little dialog box, and it says to type geometric shapes. And notice that even in this box, it's telling me that something's wrong, spelled wrong. So I'm going to right click and choose geometric shapes. Okay, and so I tap geometric shapes in the box that pops up, and it's a warning there, a hint not to type the parenthesis marks, the quote marks that I have around it. And then it says to hit the enter key. So it places that here in the middle of your page. So now we're going to make some changes to that in step 7. The picture, if you're looking at this on the computer, you'll see a colored picture in the middle of page 2. Yours will look like that when you are done. Okay, but step 7, and that is an illustration above step 7, letting you know all of the keys that buttons we're going to be using. So change the shape or word art fill color. So if this were a shape, like a square, you'd use the same process. But this word art is used, it's almost treated like a shape or a picture. So it says to do that, we're going to change the fill color of a shape or word art. It says make sure that your shape or your word art are selected. And we know that it's selected because it has the box around it. If I click off, see it's not selected now. Now it is selected. Okay, and it says then click on the fill color drop-down menu. Looks like a dripping paint can. It's right here. See, it's kind of filled with a light blue. And it says click that, and then we're going to choose white. White is over here on the end. Just made that white. So you'll see that in step 7, we just changed the color of the inside of the writing to white. Okay. Now it says to change the line color. Line color is the outside. Right now it's black. It says to change the line color of a shape or word art. Make sure that the item is selected, and then click the line color drop-down menu. Okay, right here that's the shape, the fill color. Here's the border color is actually what it's called now. So we're going to change the border color. So when you click that, it tells us that we're going to choose yellow right there. Okay, so it's real light there. You can kind of see it. And then the next one is going to have us to change the border weight. Okay. So what you're going to do with it still selected, and this is going to change how thick the line is. So we're going to click this, and it says to change the border weight or the thickness of the outline, click the border weight drop-down menu and choose 4. So click that, and you can see it got a whole lot thicker there. Okay, it says step 10, once finished making changes, you will click the Save and Close to insert into your document. So you click Save and Close, and there you go. It places it into your document. Now, one thing you're going to notice is if you wanted this to be anywhere else on your page, you'd think I can just drag it and move it, but that's not the case. Okay, it won't let you just drag it and move it. I wish it would, but we have to tell it to do that. And so what we're actually going to do, this is step 11. It says we're going to use something called the wrap text feature. It says usually when you insert a picture, shape, or word art into a document, you want to be able to move it around on the page. To do this, you'll simply click on the object if it's not already clicked on. Then when it is selected, you will see a few options at the bottom of the object. Right down here, it's editing this shape here. And if you wanted to go back, if you notice there was a spelled word wrong, you can click edit. You can also double click on it to reopen that window to edit it. But it says, then you're going to select wrap text, and then you can move the object where you would like to. In our case, you should move it near the top of the page. Okay, and drag the corner to enlarge. And then we're going to drag the corners here. We can make it bigger by, see, it follows the shape. So not going to make it huge, okay, but we're just going to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so the text is going to be a little bit bigger there, right? Pretty good. All right, so that is step 11. Now we are ready to go on to step 12. We're ready to insert a shape. It says now it's time to insert the shapes on your poster, and the process will be similar to inserting word art. Okay, first we're going to click somewhere on the page so that where there's nothing at. Okay, so we can make sure that nothing is selected. Then from the insert menu, we're going to choose drawing. Then we're going to choose from the shapes, and here's the shapes right here. We're going to choose, go down to shapes again. We're going to go to square and click on choose the square. All right, so nothing happened. It didn't put a square there. So now it says in step B to click and drag to expand the square to the size that is approximately the size of the palm of your hand. I'm going to look at the size of my hand, and I'm just going to make a square that's about that size. It doesn't really make that much difference. You can change it. Okay, and I'm going to drag it to the middle just so it's right in the middle for me to work with. Okay, now it says to add text to a shape. It says double click in the center of the square and type square. So I'm double clicking there. Then I'm and notice it's in all caps, SQUARE. Type it. All right, and now so that's typed. And then in step 14, it says now make sure that your text square is selected, and you're going to center align the text. So I'm going to select it, double clicked on it. Then I'm going to center align it. It's a hint. You may have to click the more, and I did, so I'm going to click the more. And there's two types of center. This is going to put it there, and then this is automatically probably going to be done on this as well. But anyway, I'm just going to click that one and put it in the middle. The difference here, this one centers it across. This one's also going to center it up and down in the shape. But anyway, it says now bold the text. This is step 15. Change the font to Comic Sans. There's Comic Sans on mine because I've already done this once. But if you scroll down, I did click the wrong one. So if you scroll down through, you will see Comic. It's Comic Sans MS, okay, is the font that you are choosing. And then the size, it says to change to 14. Mine is already 14. So if you look, just make sure that that you have the font size 14. Okay. And then it says and the font color, here's the font color, is white. All right. Says you may need to resize your shape so that the text fits on one line. I don't necessarily need to for this. Now it says you should click on the square. This is step 16. The square shape and change the fill color to red. So we're going to do that. And right up here, we're using the same thing we used for to fill the inside of the word art. It's right here. So we're going to change this to red, and that white shows up better. And then it says to change the border color to blue. All right. And then the border weight to 3. So we're going to, with it still selected, we're going to change the border weight to 3 points. All right. So that's done. It says to click save and close. All right. So it's here. And then the next one says in step 18, apply the wrap text feature to the shape and move it to the left side of the page under the title. So I'm going to click wrap text. So now I can move it, and I'll be able to make it a little bigger as well. All right. So, and again, you'll make final adjustments on the shapes when you're finished. So I'm just going to kind of leave it right there for now. And then in step 19, it says now you will repeat steps 12 through 18 to complete the additional shapes needed. It says refer to the image below so you can see what you need to create. It says, however, you can color the shapes however you choose, but you should change the colors of the shapes. So all of those things that we did to the square, we're going to now do to a trapezoid, a pentagon, and a circle. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do one more of those with you, and so you can see those steps again, and then I'll pause the video. All right, so I'm going to go back to step 12, and it says to insert a shape. So I'm going to click, so I'll make sure nothing is selected. I'm going to go to insert a drawing. This is step 8. It says click somewhere on your page where there is nothing at, so that you can be sure nothing is selected, and then click the insert menu and choose drawing. That's what I just did. And then step B, click and drag to expand the square. Now, I'm not doing a square now. Okay, we're going to do these other shapes. So I'm going to do that. Go to shapes, and I'm going to find the next one. I think I'll try the pentagon. There's the pentagon. It says a regular pentagon. I'm going to click on it. And again, I'm going to make it about the same size, the size of my palm. All right. And next, it says to add text. You're going to double click in the center. It says type square, but obviously we're going to type pentagon. So P-E, all caps, N-T-A-G-O-N. All right, so there is that. And wants me to bold it. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to bold that. I'm going to change it to Comic Sans, and you can use the same font if you'd like. And I'm going to change the color of the text as well to white. So I changed the font. Now again, you can use that same font. You can make it white if you want. But as we move on and we change the color of the shape and the border of the shape, you will need to choose a different color. So I'm going to go on to step 14. It says now you should click the square, in our case the pentagon, okay, and change the fill color to red and the border color to blue and the border weight to 3. So what you're going to do is choose different. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go, I think I'll make this one a darker blue. And actually, no, I'm going to do what I did on the paper here. I'm going to do that one as that kind of a pink color there. And I'm going to do the border. It looks like I did that as, I don't know, maybe that's orange. I can't really tell. And make it 3. Yeah, I think that was orange. of some sort. All right, so I've done all of those changes. I'm going to click Save and Close. And then I can put that under there. Oh, I can't because I have to wrap text. Remember that? And then I can drag it into there and I can resize it as well. Okay, probably make my square a little bigger. All right, so you can watch me. I'm going to go ahead and do the other two as well. I'm going to click over here. I want to insert image. Oops, a drawing. And shapes. And now I'm going to do the trapezoid, which is this one. I'm going to draw that shape there. And double click. Trapezoid. Now, one thing that may happen, if you have something like this, where it goes on to two lines, just stretch the box out and make it bigger. Oop, trapezoid looks like it's spelled wrong. There it is. Double click. I'm going to make those changes. It's bolded. I'm going to make the font Comic Sans MS. Make the color white. And let's see. I think I'll do the fill color of this blue. And the outline is going to be yellow, and change the weight to 3. And I'm going to make sure that this is center aligned. I don't know if it is. Oh, it wasn't. So sure enough, it's good that it did that. All right. So there's that one. Line weight or text, wrap text, so I can move it. Leave it there. And then I have one left. Click down here. Nothing selected. Insert drawing. And this one is a circle. Now I'm going to draw a circle. And you want to try to get it a circle, not an oval. That's an oval. So you want it to be a circle. And actually, if you'll hold while you're dragging it, if you hold down the Shift key, it'll force it to be a circle. And you can let go of the mouse. There you go. I'm going to click in the middle. I'm going to type CIRCLE. And I'm going to select it. And I'm going to go here. Make it Comic Sans. Make it bold. And again, my font is already the size I told you. I'm going to center it and make it white. And then let's see. I'm going to make this circle green. And I'm going to make the outline, it looks like red is what I use. Oop, did the wrong thing there. Green, outline red, line weight 3. Okay, so now I can save and close that. Pushes it in there, wrap text, drag it down here. So I want all of my shapes to be about the same size, okay? But you can kind of play with that by dragging. Remember, you always want to try to drag from a corner so that it doesn't distort your image. So I have done all of those steps. So now I can go on to step 20, which says to proofread the entire document, looking for spelling and grammar errors, and then turn in your assignment on Google Classroom. So I'm looking at this. This looks pretty good. This is what I'm looking for. So if this is what yours looks like pretty much, then you're ready to turn it in. Now, granted, you may not have used the same colors I did, but you should have used different colors for the fill and for the outline color as well as. All right, so that's what it should look like when you turn it in.